Hey there guys, so another video that will be about kind of a basic poi skill that I either have a large gap in knowledge on or have just never bothered to get down the basics of, which in this case, as you might be guessing from the video, is contact poi. Specifically the type of contact poi wherein you're treating the poi head as though it is a contact juggling ball, right? The disclaimer here is that I'm awful at contact juggling, absolutely awful. Noel was giving me some helpful pointers at Fire Drums, but yeah, I'm still in the process of learning. But like any tenacious learner, that hasn't stopped me from trying to learn how to treat a poi ball like a contact juggling ball, even if my handling of the latter is not terribly great. So, how do we get there? At Wildfire, I met a gentleman from New York whose real name I unfortunately have totally spaced on, but who goes by the handle Elemensce on YouTube. He and Charlie actually just put out a great video, and he gave me some incredibly helpful hints at Wildfire that have helped make the process a lot more streamlined for me, which I shall now impart to all of you. So, the real basic manipulation that I started off with was just, number one, catching the poi head on the back side of my hand, which is pretty easy, pretty straightforward. You know, you act like you're going to stall it straight up, and you bring your hand around and make sure that the cord goes through your fingers. One quick tip is that when I first started this, I had a really sloppy style of holding a contact juggling ball, wherein it would either be between these two fingers or these three fingers. That actually has worked quite a bit against me in learning this. The holding it between the two fingers is, as far as I can tell, the much better way to do it. So you stall it on the back of your hand, and to get it moving, you actually have to get the handle moving. So you could think of this as like analogous to, say, if you had a pendulum going, you could, at the end of the pendulum, pick it up and over like such, right? And by doing that, with the handle moving, you create a situation where you're forcing the poi to roll in the direction of the back of your elbow. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to roll in that direction, mind you, but you've at least got the momentum working in that way. As it rolls, if the length is right and if the placement's right, you should have an opportunity when it rolls to the end of your elbow to catch the handle as it's coming back around in its big circle. Amusingly enough, you could think of this as being like an inverted linear extension. Like if, say, we had the handle moving across a straight line and the poi head moving in an ellipse around it, this is a very, very analogous kind of movement. Especially when you think of the handle taking the place of the poi head in there. Once it starts rolling, an excellent tip that Elemensce had was I had been kind of holding my elbow in such a way that it was at a right angle with my forearm roughly parallel to my chest, which I couldn't figure out for the life of me why I kept getting it caught in my elbow as it was rolling down. Elemensce had the very helpful suggestion of saying that I should cock out my arm just slightly, and what that winds up doing is making sure that the cord sweeps past the outside of my arm rather than coming up on the inside of it. It also makes sure that the ball, as it's rolling, its natural inclination is to roll off right about here rather than getting caught right about here, right? These two things together added up to a much easier time rolling the ball in a somewhat dignified fashion off the back of my elbow. It's easier now than it was before I got these tips into me, right? It's still not a nailing it 100% of the time kind of thing, though. But of course, the next step once you get that is to see if you can do the entire roll off of an isolated throw, which, once again, it's not there. I'm having a hard time rolling it past my wrist, but I at least am confident now that I have the basic motion down there. It will come eventually, right? So, those are two basic ways of doing it, which I realize that those who are more versed in this have probably been doing forever and a day, but new to me. The one other manipulation he showed me at Wildfire was the idea of catching the poi inside the crook of your elbow, right? Which, once again, it's one of those lovely stall spots that in the process of learning contact juggling, you know, you've probably walked around a bit with your contact juggling ball stalled in your elbow to kind of learn the balance of it and everything. But in the same way that we were able to jockey the handle around in such a way that it made the ball roll off our elbow, we can do the same thing here. It takes long enough for the handle to get around that if we pop it, we can get our hand in position for the ball to roll down our forearm once again. Like so. And really, it's almost the exact same skill as doing this right here, except that you're getting the other arm involved. Your stall point is a bit further out than it would be if you were catching it on the top of your hand. But because it engages two different arms, I think it looks a little cooler and is a little bit more engaging to the audience, right? And of course, the next step to this one is to be able to catch it on this arm, and then roll it down the same arm and be able to catch it off of its fingertips, which not remotely there, but I thought I'd at least throw out there. So, yep, that is, to my mind at least, some basic contact poi style of contact juggling, and hopefully there will be some cooler tricks that will come out of this rather than the basic and sloppy ones that I've been showing off. So, if you guys have been playing with this, once again, please leave me some tips in the comment section, because this is something that I definitely want to play around with more. So, thank you all for watching, and have a good one. Peace.